Hello, Vividith Tribe. How's everyone doing today? I've got Ivan Teller back with us today. He channels information from and about extraterrestrials, and I find his information really authentic and enjoy the conversation. And I wanted to bring him back to discuss some things going on in the disclosure and ET community and some of his latest information. Welcome, Ivan. How are you?
Great. So thanks for having me. Yeah, glad to be back.
Yeah, it's very good to
So,
have you back. So we were just chatting off camera a little bit about some of the politics going on in the industry, the whole sort of ET and disclosure community. So today we don't want to just kind of maybe mention names as such, but we do want to talk about some dangers in the community that a lot of people are. There are some people that seem to either be compromised or they seem to be double agents, bring information that's not quite correct, or there to confuse people. So we really want to talk about, having your own discernment. When you start seeing people that start creating a cult-like message, narrative, and following, you've got to be quite careful. I don't know how we can speak about this without mentioning names, Ivan, but
figure it out. That'd be all right. We'll figure it out. Well, it's just some that are mentioning like alien disclosure, like what happened this year. I mean, there's one thing saying it like you have no idea, but you're putting the intention out there. That's one thing, but others are actually giving like a place, maybe a date, and then it'll probably never happen. You can say some are trying to. So just like we see celebrities, they kind of ruin their career. So that's one way of doing it. Get people more awakened. So, but yeah, there's some hijacking going on for sure. Well, it's basically like mainstream religion. We take religion and now it's the aliens. So we go back in time. It was probably we're talking about not everybody, but some are going to the Bible or saying this and that about who knows, and now we're doing it about aliens. So
yeah. Speaking of cults, I was listening to a video about that someone did about Andrew Tate the other day. So obviously he's like kind of
mm-hmm.
a hot topic at the moment, but you don't have to like the guy, but you do have to recognize that something fishy is going on. But this person was trying to make out that he was running a cult and all of the signs
Yeah.
that you have to look out for when somebody is running a cult. And I think people need to, whether that's true or not, I don't really think that is the case there, but I could be wrong. But people do need to be careful. There are a few things, that also is typical. Somebody that always gives you hope, somebody that always gives that clickbait, that latest information that is not necessarily truth, or somebody that puts dates out there. We have to be very careful. And I think
Yeah.
there are a couple of people in the industry, unfortunately, that's leading people astray right now.
Yeah, Andrew Tate. I never heard of him until he made news. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's the same thing. It's just similar to what's happening in the spiritual community. Those that have a huge following, and you start hearing about things, rumors, personal, their personal lives get kind of dark, and that's happening in the spiritual community too. And it's maybe not exactly, but some of these spiritual cults or the alien cults, the alien religions, I believe some of these leaders actually believe what they're saying. Like they're being really put into all of it's a contract. They made an astral. It's a test for the people. It's a test for people because people are being told what they want to hear. Like the aliens are coming to save us, the med bed. So it's not just the cult thing, it's the med bed conversation, the monetary system. I don't know what else. Like we're gonna have this new monetary system. It could happen, but we're not seeing any signs of it. So
the whole idea, which I said before, is somebody's going to come and save us. Don't worry, you can just sit around on your couch and wait because somebody will come and save us. It's the whole Messiah kind of story, and it disempowers people, and it makes them the victim. Somebody else is always there to either create a problem for them or to save them from it. And we have to start realizing that we're there to save ourselves. Unless we empower ourselves and take full responsibility for our own lives, it's not going to happen. So, freedom is not a word. It's an embodiment. You have to fully realize your own sovereignty and freedom, and that comes with discernment and good judgment and intuition. And those are the things people need to work on developing.
Yeah, it's well, when I was growing up, I was told I was going to be left behind. Armageddon is going to happen, and I think family was going to go into the light, and I'll be stuck here. Of course, the person that said that is getting the real life is showing itself. So, because none of that happened. So,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
yeah, the alien situation is because then you have new people getting involved with this, and then they're kind of falling for the same, the Nordics are going to come and help us and all that. Yeah, it's hard. It's especially when you do have an alien visitation and you feel their energy, but we haven't quite mastered that. Of course, even if we did become a positive society, yeah, you can't lose it too. So we're learning how to maintain it, as long as it might take us a few thousand years or longer.
Hopefully not that long.
The way things are going right now.
Yeah.
Like look at the population. The population is what, 10 billion? I don't know how they get that number, but it's like, geez. So
Yeah. A lot of people are only now waking up to this information. The fact that there are all these alien races, some of them are already, amongst us in the form of hybrids or reincarnated humans. And that there are all of these planets with all that. So they're hungry for the information, and they go online and they find people that they can relate to and personally connect to. And once that connection is established and the information keeps flowing, they keep being kind of dependent on that person, and they can really be led astray. So it's quite dangerous. But as you say, it's for people to figure out, their own discernment and to do their own research and cross-referencing information. If one person is saying something and nobody else is saying it, you've got to start questioning things. And they may be saying, well, they've got a very, very specific high-level connection with an extraterrestrial that's trying to help us, or whatever the case is. But people need to be a little bit more careful and discerning. There's been a lot of infighting in the community as well. You've always got to ask the question, why that happens, if and when it happens, especially people that point fingers at others, because there's a lot of jealousy going on as well. And it's a little bit tricky, but there's specifically a woman right now that we've discussed that a lot of people have loved for a long time, and she's got a big following, and she does seem to be very authentic. But lately there's some really strange information that has been coming out from her side. People have to be very concerned when somebody talks about either brain chips or getting onto some or other spacecraft to get their DNA restored. These are all sort of artificial quick fixes that is not necessarily good for humanity. So,
well, especially there's an alien group that's hurt physically, but they say the aliens can take your DNA and create hybrid children and all that, and that's just remember, you got to sign up for that. You sign up for it here physically, but really be careful what you're getting yourself into, because there are elite like Illuminati cults that are here. It might seem like they're this little small little friendly groups, but there can easily be a dark side behind it. So intentions, like I know one instance, because I signed up for it before I knew what all this, and I felt an alien presence around me, but another person signed up for that and got attacked. So got an energy attack. So, but I never felt the alien it's like some kind of elite energy. It's not good. So yeah, be careful what you sign up for. Another thing I've been running into is those that have been kind of programmed by those of people have crossed over. And some people feel like they're advanced enough to understand the people that have crossed over and all that, but they're not really. Some understand it's just energy and just go with it. Others want to be proven as the person that's been crossed over. I've run into that couple, and the being will do that if they want to. Sometimes the being that you want to channel doesn't even want to talk to you. That makes it even harder. And I don't always know the details. Oh, just can't channel such and such. It'll be fine. Well, what if that being wants nothing to do with you? And I've run into that. So
Mm.
that's rough. I'm like, I'm in between all of this. It's like they're not telling you anything, but maybe because they don't like you that well. Who knows? But I'll never
Yeah.
know that. So, but people feel like they're a bit more. Oh, why you just they go by what they've seen on TV and all that. They connect to past ones, and there are mediums that can have that connection that's different. I don't hear advertise that stuff, and I still get questions about. I mean, if you understand the energy, you can get what you're looking for, because then the being might bring up something that you might know. But if you're asking for it, they'll say a lot of times they just say, I'm not here to be a circus. I'm not here to do tricks for you. They just
Yeah.
do what they do. Let them do what they want to do, and they'll acknowledge who they are if they want to. So it's tough. It's a lot to learn here.
So how do
So
you keep sane within all this, Ivan?
just well, I work on other things. I still have a job still. That's not helping my sanity. I'm trying to break away from that. Resting, exercise, resting, get your mind off of it. Just work on other projects. I do creative projects on the side. Nothing is getting anywhere, but either way, it's like working on a timeline. So that helps a lot. But yeah, getting away from all this. The more you think about it, I don't sit around trying to take connect with aliens all day. I'll go crazy. It just like I've had dreams. Like this morning I had a dream from a family member that wasn't exactly pleasant. It was like an attack. I think this person's planning on is crossing over soon, and that's why I'm here early. I got up early, so that worked out well. so,
Sure.
so I just kind of transmute that, and yeah, it was kind of like a nightmare a little bit, but I transmuted it. So, uh, but yeah, it's yeah, do energy work. Yeah, people do this energy type of work, as you know. It's not as depending on what you're doing. Some of the psychics out there that just love doing. I don't know what telling people they're seeing what the future and all that. Some of them really enjoy it, but when you do like deep energy work, it's like it really depletes you for sure. So
Mm.
sleeping, watching your health, but just do whatever you can. It's survival. It's hard. Yeah, because you can connect to someone's energy can really mess you up for a couple of days depending on the situation. It doesn't
Yeah.
happen very often, but it can.
You must be able to
So
kind of close the door and say, okay, shop's closed now. We're not going to chat now for the next couple of hours. If there's any
yeah,
messages that want to
uh,
come through.
I've always had that. I kind of designed that way to just turn off. Like I go into a crowd of people, I don't feel all their stuff, which is good. But when I open up the door, or if I talk to somebody, I start coughing sometimes because there's something coming from their energy or whatever it is, or I can get attacked myself. So yeah, that can happen. So yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
Interesting.
closing the door is hard, no doubt. If people do this stuff, I realize their empathic energy is always open. It's I just have to boundaries, energy boundaries. I don't know, just take a walk, whatever it is. Yeah, and that's why animals. I have cats, so that's clearing out my frequency a lot.
Yeah.
So if you're just a cat person, but it's like it really does work. You see witches with cats. It's like it
Hmm.
would be dogs. I grew up with cats, so I
Hmm.
never grew up with dogs. I would have dogs if I grew up with dogs, but I grew up with cats.
Hmm.
So it just seemed to be a natural. That helps out a lot. So
Hmm. I never thought of it
so
like that. That
yeah,
cats can do that for you.
yeah. And dogs can do it too. It
Mm.
depends. Cats are a bit more, I think, more spiritual. Dogs are more physical. Like if it was a loved one was a child, dogs are perfect. They're like little babies. Cats are like they can be like that, but you know how cats are. It's like you're trying to hold a cat like a baby. They're like, okay, I'm done with this. So,
Yeah, you can't
So
take them for a walk, eh?
you probably, I think you can. You can get. I don't do it, but you can get a leash and yeah, hope for the best. Some people do it.
You might have some claws in your back.
Yeah,
They're quite
some.
skittish. They get scared quickly.
Well, there's a guy in Europe that has a cat that he has his own YouTube channel, and he takes his cat everywhere he goes. Takes him on adventures on his bike. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Wow, no, I haven't seen that. I just saw
Yeah,
a little
puts it. Yeah,
I saw a little kitten at a restaurant the other day. I was like, wow. You know, like they normally bring it in
yeah,
the dogs in the little
yeah.
cage. Well, that person brought their little kitten with a little harness. So it's like, oh wow.
Funny. Yeah, that's gonna. Yeah, there's a guy on YouTube that has a cat. He takes on bike rides through Europe, and yeah, I think the cat's name Nala. It's hilarious. It's
That's
just
very
they
cool.
just yeah, she comes when he calls her, and yeah, just so it can't work. So, but yeah, animals are becoming more like people. Well, they're
Mhm.
treated more like it, which is good. I mean, I put my cats on my Instagram page. I just instead of put myself there, I just post pictures of them. So, you know,
Yeah,
because
I love my
um,
cats as well.
but you want to talk about the alien races a little bit,
Yes,
like
you had
discernment of
some
that too, or whatever. Yeah, go
you had
ahead.
some interesting channelings of late. Some of your videos. There was one about the Andromeda message, the Ursa major healing planet, Antarctica frozen Akashic record. I haven't actually seen that
Yeah.
video, but maybe you can fill us in a little bit.
Well, Andromedans come off as yeah, angelic energy. Uh, actually, recently connected to because I connect to them, but they don't always show me all what they. I don't always need to know. It's like there's only so much you need to know about them. But yeah, they do have a feline side of themselves. Also, of course, they have other canines. They have a little bit of everything, but a lot of them have not learned what we have learned. They haven't gone deep as we have. So they've gone, they have challenges, but not like what we have. So when they come here, they're a lot lighter. Of course, some of them get on drugs. That wasn't part of the message, but I don't remember what the message was. But I'm just kind of going by what I picked up on them. But recently, it's like think about what we're living like in half of it. Just cut it in half, and that's obviously don't have. I imagine they do have worlds that go through poverty and things like that, but still nowhere near as much as what we go through. So yeah, it's more like an angelic frequency. We can say the archangel energies come from Andromeda, you can say. But with the Antarctica, yeah, it's always going to be a mystery. It's wants to speak to it. Eventually it will melt, not anytime soon. There's definitely elite energy there. I feel like there is a pyramid energy there, a black pyramid. I think I channeled that a while. It still looks like of course, they do have like I think it's a Rothschild, like a area region of it. It's called Rothschild. I don't think it's
Yes, I've
Rockefeller,
heard
but
of that. They own an
yeah,
island or an area there in
yeah,
the lands beyond, so to speak, that
yeah,
we don't know anything about.
yeah. And I guess you can go to Antarctica if you have clearance and everything, but you're not probably going to see anything. But a lot of it probably is underground, so it's
Yeah,
just like we've heard before. But eventually, yeah, the a lot of this stuff will melt, but probably not in our lifetime. But things will start to change. It has to. Like all the knowledge is stored in the ice, you can say. And if slowly things are melting and people are getting a wake up call, but like the polar shifts, I don't think that's going to happen in our life. Of course, you never know, but it's we're in a time of conspiracy everything. So it's like the solar flare is going to happen, this, and then none of it ever happens. But there is a lot of knowledge in the Antarctica. Every time I do a channeling of that, seems to get attention of just yeah. There's obviously secret yeah, all the countries are there. Yeah, the Rothschild frequency. They know something's there. That obviously not going to reveal, but yeah,
yeah.
it's I don't know.
I
You can't
believe
really know
there's
too much.
some very tropical, lush lands beyond
Yeah,
the ice ball with beings and animals that we don't know, that's not you know, that's
Yeah,
not on planet Earth. Basically, it's only available there, but it's very tropical, it's very abundant, it's very lush from what I've
yeah,
heard.
definitely. Well, there is an Atlantean energy. That is, some people feel like that is an Atlantis. There is an Atlantean frequency. I mean, that's what people are. I know people go deep into the secret space program and those other realities. Some are still trying to heal from that, which is understood. But the Atlantean stuff is still, I mean, at least we have a little bit more concrete. I mean, Plato said something about it, so that says something. Of course, a lot of people can tap into it and feel the frequencies of it. So, and people are getting more memories of it. I believe it definitely did happen here. So, Antarctica has something to do with it. So, or
Yeah,
some connection to it. So, they just stored a lot of our knowledge. Of course, there's pyramids all across the world, hidden, large ones, hidden ones, and a lot of our knowledge is there. So, just, I mean, the way I look at the pyramids, like kind of like our Wi-Fi, kind of like another way for us to connect to each other, the planet. It's just another. Of course, it can be misused. It's just like anything else. But when the
yeah,
Atlanteans got disconnected from the Earth, I guess that's when the pyramids started to come in. I'm not getting a full memory of that, but I get fragmented. But yeah, because they used to connect to the Earth very easily, but when it started becoming corrupt, that changed everything.
yeah.
So
I
yeah,
believe their spiritual development didn't keep up with their technological
yeah,
development, and that's where, you know, the dangers of AI and technology in the wrong hands becomes a problem, and that was a large part of their
well,
downfall.
it feels like Sirius. I feel like the Atlanteans came from Sirius. At least that's my feeling of it. And the other Syrians can bring, um, pyramid technologies, and yeah, that's when things started to get hijacked over time. And of course, the Syrians have their own issues too. Is what I feel is
Yeah.
like Sirius feels, at least feels like it's more of a constellation. Like to talk about Sirius, the planet, but there's I feel like the whole constellation is Sirius. Basically, is the way I see it.
Hmm.
Somebody, somebody wants to see.
Hello,
That's Fritzy.
Fritzy.
Fritzy. Mm-mm. See, see how
So
Fritzy
cute.
she is. Mm-mm.
Um, yeah, I think people also need to start realizing that, the one race is not just good and the other one is bad. We can't generalize like that.
Yeah,
I mean, I heard recently also there's speaking of Andromeda, we know it as a very high frequency. I believe the 9D kind of um, society. I don't know.
mm-hmm.
I think I remember 9D, but could be wrong. But then I also heard
No, yeah,
about
so,
a Andromedan gang, like a rogue gang that
yeah,
broke away from the good guys, so to speak, and the woman, the contactee that we discussed earlier, shall remain nameless. It
yeah,
sounds like she could have been influenced by them as well, because she mentions them, and then she mentions the brain chip, and then going up in the ship and getting your DNA blueprint restored to its original form. Um,
interesting.
so I think people need to realize that just because you heard good things about one race, they're not necessarily all good. Just like
Yeah,
the reptilians aren't all bad. So we've
correct.
got to
That's
develop discernment.
yeah,
We've
that
got to
says something.
remain
Yeah,
vigilant and,
yeah,
trust our own
yeah.
instincts or develop our own sixth sense so that we can sense whether a being is positive or negative.
Yeah, that's a rough. Yeah, it's a rough one. That yeah, that well. First off, that lady you mentioned of, I feel like there's an Orion manipulation there, as you're saying that. And
Yeah.
Orions are very tricky. Not everybody is aware of their. Now, there's positive, like I say, it's a good side to it, and then there's a not was a positive side. I feel when I get Orion's, at least my vision of it, like the elf people, elves, and elves can be very powerful, and they something that you would see in a cartoon. They can be very friendly, and also can be very vicious, and they just have their different agendas here. So the Orions do get probably a bad rap. Not everything's
Mm.
known about them, but there's something there that they they do here. Yeah, and Andromedans, yeah, there's some I definitely believe there's yeah, it's light and dark with everything. Like the reptilians, they get a lot of heat. Of course, some of it is deserved because some of them are really bad, but they're really good at it too. And they're the reptilians, similar to like to the grays, they can go into the third dimension a lot easier because they have a dark side. But they can also go to the light side too. And like so if you look at like the iguana or there's different other lizards here that not the crocodile. That's like even crocodiles could be even a crocodile could be well maybe not a crocodile, maybe an alligator. I mean people have pets as alligators. So it's like I'm here in Florida. It's hilarious. Like there's a lady here has a baby alligator. She calls Rambo. She takes them everywhere.
What?
Yeah, she has a yeah. She puts him on his motorcycle.
What? That's the
Yeah,
one thing I'll never trust, a
it's
crocodile. I don't know.
yeah. Well, I think it's an alligator. Yeah,
Oh,
crocodile. I'm not sure about that goes, but it's an alligator. Is a baby, so he's kind of like a big baby. I don't know how big he is now, but she used to ride with him on her motorcycle. So you know,
Totally good protection, isn't it?
yeah, seriously. But so yeah. So reptilians, yeah, but reptilians and the grays look very yeah, they look kind of spooky. They do a lot of stuff here. Definitely, they're doing a lot of stuff they shouldn't be doing. But there are good ones too. They're just um, another thing is the Nordics, the Palladians. Like some people feel like they can be pretty evil, and I think they could be a lot of times worse because they
Yeah,
have like a beauty about them.
yeah,
So they manipulate the like Vogue magazine, the models, anorexia, because they use their attractiveness and they have
yeah.
like a
They
little
can
bit of
deceive
reptilian.
through their looks.
Yeah. Even like Heaven's Gate, that was like alien cult, like a Jesus kind of
Yes,
a alien god, perfect, blonde,
yes.
and that really deceived them. I don't think they were really trying to hurt anybody. I mean, I know some people agree. I think they just got completely just pulled in, just they're connected to aliens and they just got pulled into it. Once you got deep, you're gone. And
Mm.
I just believed everything. Yeah,
So you
Nordics,
figured out.
I feel like there were, yeah, because they can get in where the reptilians can't. It's like, oh, you see that ugly reptilian, you see that ugly you know, Zeta. So you have a beautiful Nordic being
Yeah,
that's doing the same, just doing the same manipulations. And you have maybe a scary looking Zeta saying, "Don't trust those guys," and people were like, "Oh, that's scary. I won't trust that." So it's that's yeah, it's tough.
mm. But the small
So
grays are predominant. I mean, they're basically organic robots, right? So they are basically controlled by somewhere else, something
some,
else, someone else.
well, not all of them are. I think some of them are, yeah, but some of them are, yeah, some of them are, yeah, some of them definitely, yeah, they're easier to control because they're little and everything. They just make, yeah, like a robot.
And also they have the
So,
hive mind, so they're kind of all working together in a way. So it depends on who's in charge of them, I guess. They can be used for
yeah,
something positive or negative, but mostly it's negative.
yeah, but there's also offshoots. There's also offshoots. Um, grays that want nothing to do with the hive mind. They break away,
Okay,
things like that.
interesting.
So
Yeah, I
it's
think
just
you've
yeah.
channeled some grays, haven't you?
Oh yeah, yeah. Some of my early connections with the grays. Yeah.
So that's why you know that they're not all bad.
Oh no, they're just trying to get their act together. Trying to. Some of them are trying to be more humanoid, kind of more emotions. Not that what there are is bad. It's just they're willing to experiment. Like try new things. Yeah, the whole grays are. I mean, you want aliens? Yeah, people want alien disclosure. It's like you're not just going to get the pretty aliens. You're going to get the weird ones and the octopus beings or whatever that's out
Mm,
there. It's like that's why Star Trek is helping a little bit, because
yeah,
it's
it's
showing how weird it is out there.
yeah,
So
it's a very complex subject. It can't
yeah,
just be
yeah,
addressed quickly. And a
no.
lot of people are saying, "Oh, we're going to see big disclosure this year." I don't think it's going to happen this year. Humans are not ready for this. We still have to evolve quite a bit more
Yeah.
before they can start making contact with us.
Yeah,
Oh,
this is a hard. Yeah, doing spiritual work is kind of hard. It really is because like you want to bring some alien energy, not just just to you know get things something different. Just but yeah, it's. I mean, I don't disconnect. I don't like discard it like it won't happen. People on an individual level will have it. Um, that's the best way of looking at it. Just on an individual level, and you can do
yeah,
meditations. People feel like they're making it up, but you probably aren't, but they're not quite ready there, not quite there yet. It has to go into pop culture too. If our culture starts recognizing more of the alien, of course, there's going to be manipulation. That's just going to happen. I mean, right, Rick and Morty. That's a kind of an out there show, but there's your alien disclosure if you need some. The
yeah.
Avatar movies.
Mm,
Avatar is interesting. The Jim Cameron movie. I feel like he got a download of that. Like he can do it. Like he can make it happen. I don't know if he was a blue person. He doesn't look like he would be a blue person, but you never know. He
yeah.
might have been the bad guy. I can see him as a bad guy trying to wipe him out. I can see that. But him being a tree person, I'm not sure about that. But it feels like he got a download from, and he can make it happen. And he getting funding also. I mean, Avatar is taking over every. It's like it's weird. So that's
Mm,
aliens. I mean, that's and even the avatar of people turning into the Navi people, the blue people, like you get into a unit and it closes. Aliens do that too, but they come into humans instead.
mm.
So there's something like that out there like that exists.
Yeah,
So it is in some disclosure.
I saw a
Yeah.
clip out of Avatar. I think it's the second one, or somebody was what who it was, but they showed a scene where they took a whale and they were
Mhm.
drilling into the whale and taking like out a substance, which is basically kind of
Yeah.
very similar to what we see
Adrenochrome.
now with the satanic
Adrenochrome.
cult going on, with the
Yeah.
A substance being removed from the little ones.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm wondering, is that like a desensitizing it, or why did they put that scene in? Do you know?
Yeah, it's either there is some knowledge of by the adrenochrome situation. Yeah, but they just put that in. That's only like a couple minutes in the whole thing.
Mm,
The rest of it's about hunting whales, and that's a whole. That's it's different. I also saw like the Clockwork Orange. I don't know if you're aware of that.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're at the milk bar, and it felt like it sounded like you said it was adrenochrome. Like the milk that they were drinking, it was like
We shouldn't say that word too
milk.
often. Hey, YouTube is gonna,
Oh, not really.
I
But
believe.
yeah, I don't say it very often, but there's like Milk Plus or something like that. So
Oh,
yeah,
really?
I could have swore he said something else, but yeah.
Hmm.
So
Interesting. I should watch that movie again.
yeah,
That was
yeah,
quite a
yeah. So but yeah,
important movie for its time.
that's a messed up movie. Yeah, it's just yeah, no doubt. Well, it has MK Ultra, you saying so or a version programming always. He
Yeah.
does have a version of MK Ultra because he's a really bad guy and he starts being he can't hurt people anymore. So yeah, of course he breaks out of it eventually. So yeah.
Yeah. Stanley Kubrick is an interesting guy. I
Yeah.
heard something about him a couple of months ago, but I forgot what it was. Um, but yeah, we know that they always tell us what they're going to do or what they're already doing by putting it in the movies. That's why they've created Hollywood, basically, MK Ultra. It's
Yeah.
like they have to tell us before they do it to us, right?
Well, they did like with the X Files before 9/11, the Lone Gunman TV show. It's
Yeah.
like an offshoot of X Files, and I guess they canceled the series, but it's talk about 9/11 and everything before it happened, and so yeah,
I
that's
love
it.
that show. And I was listening to an interview the other day of an ex FB, well, let's just call it the three-letter agency starting with an F.
Hmm.
Got to be so careful on this channel, on this platform. But he was saying that he actually, some of the cases he was working on was used by the X-Files for
Yeah.
inspiration. So yeah, that stuff was pretty much
Yeah.
real.
Well, the three-letter agency, or maybe all of them, is there just a, you're just covering up the elite agendas anyway, right? So even that's the military. So what do you think? The military works for the elite system, which is
Yeah.
just crazy. You know, the Pentagon and all that. It's just crazy to think like there's like a few people or a few. I mean, yeah, people want to be proven about the elite. Just look at Washington D.C. That's one example, of course. Of course, the whole thing with what is it? Harry and all that.
Oh,
Is
that's
really
just a
making them look.
distraction. I mean, that's really a
Yeah, I
distraction.
agree.
It's
But
not,
it is diluting their popularity for a lot of people though. So, but so that is like a version of a disclosure. It is a distraction, but it's also
no,
there's
you're
some
right.
yeah, it is.
I do believe it's going to become more and more a channel for
That's good.
disclosure. So yeah,
Yeah.
I take my
It'd
words
be
back.
nice.
Could be very useful, actually.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see those. I mean, we don't really need that. I mean, they're just covering up how dark Britain is. You know, it's like because it's still influencing the US and other in Africa, you know, they do a lot of dark things there
Yeah.
too. Britain, it might be small, but man, they do a lot of I mean, US has a lot of corruption too, but
It
Britain
all
does a
basically
lot.
started coming out of England or being ruled out of England for the last few centuries. I mean,
Yeah.
after Khazaria kind of got dismantled, they just moved it to England, right? And so a lot
Yeah,
of these
exactly.
things are being, so colonialism that we saw in the past is now just done differently and more
Yeah.
covertly. Um,
Yeah.
but it's
Well,
still being done.
the corporations are the new, you know, royalty,
They
you can
use the
say.
corporations to, the
Yeah.
big corporations to control and
Yeah.
deliver their agenda. Just like I saw the other day, now the UN is moving into Uganda. Now, what happened in Uganda a couple of months ago? They discovered trillions of dollars of gold, like a gold reserve that they
Mm.
only just discovered. And I knew when that happened is before long there's going to be either a war in Uganda or somebody is going to move in there and start
Yeah.
creating some sort of narrative in order to take over. Anyway, I believe
Yeah.
we are.
Well,
There's a lot
yeah.
being done, taking these guys out behind the scenes as well. A lot of what we currently see is a bit of a movie playing out,
Mm.
but it's still very much in the thick of things. So it's hard to really know where we are in the process.
Yeah. Well, yeah. See in the future, just yeah, go with it. Some people are precog people that can see versions of the future. That comes up quite a bit. Uh, not too much, but it comes out more than it probably should, which is a good thing. Some people are getting premonitions of the future. Doesn't mean that you have a. Sometimes you're protected from the future. You know, people want to know about the future. Sometimes, but you don't know because you know too much. But it's funny before, like in 2017, like around this time, uh, I must have went astral. I looked at something I wasn't supposed to look at. I was sick for like 6 months.
Wow.
And I think it was before what happened in 2020. I think so, maybe I saw something I was supposed to see. I didn't know what it was or physically. I just know I was sick, so I could not get rid of it for anything. I think it was 2017, maybe it was 18. I can't remember anymore. But it just would not go away. So, and then what happened in 2020? So it's like, huh, it's just, feels like maybe I got a piece of
An early version of that.
an early version. Well, interesting though. During 2020, I actually had dreams when this started becoming, a problem. I had dreams I was actually in China. I
Mm,
felt like I was around people that were sick. And woke up, it freaked me out. I was like, wait a minute, I'm all by myself. Okay, I'm okay. I literally felt like I was there though. I think it happened twice.
hmm.
Can't
It
forget
could
that. Yeah, that was yeah, I was like astral connecting to it. Yeah, something like that.
maybe in a parallel life you were there.
That could be. That that could easily be. But yeah, that was. I mean, I really, literally feel like the people that were there, if like I was gonna get it, or it was just yeah, it was something else. I don't remember the whole details of it, but so
Hmm.
yeah.
Well, I was actually in China in December 2019. I spent New
Oh,
Year in China. It's before we knew about it, and I mean, I got it. I didn't know I had it, but I was very sick. But I managed to shake it after like 2, 3 days. But
oh, good.
yeah, one night I
That's
really, it was just, it's that different kind of weed. It's just like a weight on your lungs. It's quite scary. But
interesting. They had
that's
that. They had military game. They funny had the military games from all those different countries. There, I think
yeah,
in the same town where it
yes.
was deployed.
Everything was just too coincidental. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
or
China's still
planned.
going through a problem with it. I guess that's karmic connector, or just they want to deploy it on the world again, which I don't think that's going to happen. But interesting though,
Mm,
we had the. I don't know if you heard about the news. FAA here in the U.S.
yes,
they shut down all the air travel.
yes,
I I I could be wrong, but it feels like that there's something up with that because that's not normal. That's it feels some they're testing something out. You know, we had Southwest, a big airline, which that's probably part of the cabal system. I don't think they're out of it. I think there could be some corruption. Like there's a dark side, there's a good side and a dark side there. But I feel like that was done deliberately to cause more trouble for people. And then the weather just happened to be like this worst storm ever on Christmas
yeah,
week.
yeah.
Of
But
course.
that's definitely created. I mean, we know they have the
Yeah.
technology, right?
Yeah. But just
Um,
it went from that to Southwest, and now we have this the FAA. So something either that we have too much freedom right now, or something they're planning on some kind of maybe it's nothing.
or maybe they are
Maybe it's
planning
nothing.
this EBS thing after all. They're planning, they're trying to keep people in place. But the other thing that I've heard from some of the people that are connected on Telegram, on some of the channels, is that while that FAA was going on,
Mhm.
military aircraft were allowed to fly, and there were hundreds of them, if not thousands, in the airspace. You've got that website where you
Interesting.
can track whatever military
Yeah.
aircraft is in the air. It looked
Interesting.
like a cluster of, I mean, it was busy. When I say busy, it was super busy while they were halting all the civilian flights. It could also that they didn't want certain people to escape. Maybe that's why they halted all sort of
Yeah. Yeah.
civilian flights.
Easily. Yeah, there could have been something that they were trying to yeah, keep from leaving the country or something. That's got to be pretty intense. So,
Yeah.
geez,
But the amount of military activity that's been going on, well, all over the world, but
yeah,
mostly in the US, and you can see
yeah.
them also going up and down to Gitmo and back, and it's the one thing that kind of assures us that stuff is going on. There isn't nothing going on.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it's just hard to prove it because like the underground bases of the White Hats winning and all that. There's really no proof of any of that. I mean, I know people are going to believe the White Hats are winning, but like you said earlier, it's like people are just, oh, just sit, oh, we're winning, so relax and sit back and don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But it's still good to have an open mind. Still, yeah, we're not out of this. If we start getting out of this, crime should go down. Government corruption should really like be non-existent. Things should really start changing,
Well, the
which
big
is
thing
it's
is that
nice.
they say this is part of the movie to wake up the normies because they're still so apathetic and
Yeah,
fast
that's why.
asleep. But
Yeah,
it's one hell of a movie, I'll tell you that much.
that is true. Well, yeah, during my awakening, um, like 2008 was when the financial crash happened. That's when I started to look into things because I was working on other things. I wasn't really thinking about the elite running the world and all that. Was never my
Interesting.
just wasn't my thing. In 2008, you think it would be 2001, but I was pretty young then. Just wasn't thinking. I just was had no interest. I didn't know anything about the World Trade Center. I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna go into that, but that's when I found David Icke, found Alex
Wow.
Jones. So the first one I really found was David Icke because he was on Coast to Coast AM.
Mm,
So, but then he gets kind of not to mention names, but it's kind of, I don't know, like it's a weird one. I mean, he's good for disclosure, but I guess all reptilians are bad. It's all Anunnaki, and
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
for
He's a little bit,
yeah,
yeah. He was good for
yeah,
disclosure, but
yeah. He's good for definitely. But there's another side to it. There are definitely,
it's
to go
much more
back,
complex
segue.
than yeah.
Yeah, they're good. Yeah, it's to say any alien beings all bad is, and that's the thing. A lot of these aliens are, they look scary, they look weird. Doesn't mean that they're bad. They just look bizarre. And I do have people message me about alien groups I've never heard of, and I would channel them, but a lot of people don't know who they are, and I don't know. I get, I try to keep it kind of general, but the Palladians and Syrians and Arcturians, I kind of keep it to those levels. It's just because it's kind of a teaching environment. So if I connect to a being that no one's ever heard of, I don't know. Just, I mean, I connect to planets, I connect to star systems.
Mm,
Uh, but there's so many different alien. You can come up with an alien. I mean, you see that in fiction, and in your own download. Not to say it's not real. It's just there are alien groups that no one's ever heard of for sure. Like
mm.
maybe 2 or 3 people have ever heard of them here. Some races can be very small, so it's,
Also, I
yeah, it's like
think
millions of beings. It's like,
it's maybe a good idea to also start with the cedar races that actually contributed to our DNA. That's what
yeah,
people need to learn first before we learn about all the others. So it's still important that people are educated about
yeah,
Vedians, the
that's
Lyrans, the Arcturians,
exactly.
Andromedans,
Yeah,
etc.
I agree. Yeah, yeah, because we don't really know them that like the Arcturians. I did a video about them, how not all of them are all so great. They're seen as this great. I think some of there's a little bit of a psyop there. Like they're also connected to the jinn. Not to say the Arcturians are all bad, but they have a jinn connection too. So, and there's that can
Tell
be
us
some of
about
the
the
channel
gin.
messages I hear from others. Oh, the gin? Oh, you know about the gin, right? Do you know about the gin?
I don't
Or
really
no? Or you know about him? No?
don't
Not
really
really?
know much.
Oh, it's the Arab. Yeah. So when I started channeling, I didn't know about him either. So I started channeling. So it's like there's good, there's bad once again. It's not all bad, but they can possess, like they're known in the Arab world of possessing people. So you get possessed, and you can find on YouTube, it's Jinn. And so you can have like an Arab person talking to someone that's possessed by a jinn. And the jinns are kind of like kids. They're just, they don't know why they're doing this. It just took over a person. So also connected to the genie.
Ah,
So
interesting.
the jinn are known for yeah, attracting, manifesting. But you can also sell your soul to them. A lot of Arabs are connected to manifesting. As you can see, the Arab world has a lot of manifestations. Look at Dubai. I mean, they try to manifest things that are probably impossible, like build an island on the ocean and all that. So they kind of push their limits on a lot of things, but that's the jinn. The jinn can be very dark also, but it can also be, but it is known throughout the Arab world though.
Hmm.
And my feeling is that it's yeah, it's nothing to really mess with. I wouldn't mess with it. I know some people are comfortable with it, but I just keep in mind my
It's
feelings.
best
And they're
not to
probably around here
experiment and
now.
try to have a
Yeah, if you
conversation.
don't, yeah, no, I know somebody had an alcohol problem. She had a couple of gin around her.
Yeah,
Not
that
to go
makes you
into
more
that,
vulnerable
but
when you like an alcoholic, or it kind
yeah,
of attracts or lets in the negative
yeah,
archonic beings.
yeah, yeah. So, and the Arcturians are like fifth dimensional beings. They can go higher. Yes, anybody can go 10, 12, 11, hundreds, whatever.
True. Yeah.
Um, and they have a dark side within themselves, but they're very spiritual beings. Some of them are artists here. Um, and yeah, they're very detailed artists. They're just, some are self-help people, like Dr. Phil's an Arcturian. I don't know if Dr.
Dr. Phil.
Phil
Yeah.
he does like mental health.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, Dr. Phil,
Yeah.
he's been on Oprah.
Yeah.
That's another good example of that. So
Well, anything that's on Oprah now, I don't really trust, to be honest. That was probably one of my big
Yeah.
shocks because I used to love her, and then I heard a
Yeah.
couple of years ago that she's heavily compromised, and yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was quite shocked.
Yeah, I have all that. I mean, you can be successful and not be under control. You're just not as successful as others. You can still be
Yeah,
in. I think you can still be in the system and still not sell your soul and still be, you know,
it's just
the
much
actor
more
James Woods
difficult.
comes to mind.
Who?
Yeah, the actor James Woods comes to mind.
Okay.
He's been in the 80s, like 80 cop movies, and he got, he's like the 80s guy. Like, but he got
Mm.
shadow banned by, people. So,
And
or
then
by
obviously,
Hollywood, but so
and then Mel Gibson, um, he's been
yeah.
basically banned from Hollywood, but he's been speaking out, and I believe he's bringing out a new movie about the Illuminati. So that's going to be interesting.
I know he's doing another Christ movie. Is that the one?
Oh,
Or is
no,
this
I
something
don't think
different?
so. Um, I think somebody else is actually producing the movie about the Illuminati,
Interesting.
um, but yeah,
Okay. I have to look that one up.
they're not really very happy with him. But there's very few of
Oh
them.
yeah, he had that rant, and I mean he has resurrected himself, from what he did to his career. Yeah, it's something else. Well, he grew up with a very Catholic family too. So
Mm,
that's something to do with it. But
mm,
it is very, there's a lot of, Hollywood is very, it can be very Jewish, but he's an alcoholic too. But yeah, Kane West going his whole
yeah,
anti-Semite. Jeez.
yeah,
Well, they have a different culture. They have a culture of prosperity. You have a doctor, you have a lawyer family. They teach you to do these things, and most families don't do any of that. Just go bake some bread somewhere and have a nice day, or have family that sabotages you. It doesn't want you to succeed at all. So
mm.
that's probably most families. So
But
yeah,
yeah, Kanye was. It's a pity that he didn't filter his narrative better because I mean the stuff that he was
yeah,
touching on is true, but he should have named the Kazarian
yeah,
mafia because these are fake Jews, they're not real Jews. Um, but maybe it
yeah.
was a way of opening up the conversation because maybe it needed to have shock value in order to start the conversation because otherwise, how are you going to open that can of worms? Um, because
That's true. Yeah, it's kind of like sacrificing himself, you can say.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, he's been so programmed. He's been so compromised.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't
So
know when he may be falling back into the MK Ultra.
yeah, he's never looked mentally well. Just definitely infiltration there for sure. And yeah, how far that goes into the government. Obviously, your imagination can take it all over the place with that. But there is an NSA. There is a remote viewing program. So through the
Yeah,
government. So I
yeah,
mean, schizophrenics feel like there's government talking to them. So,
yeah. And think of the movie Conspiracy
yeah,
Theory as well with Mel
it's
Gibson.
yeah, I haven't seen that. I know of it, but
Oh, you haven't seen it. You
yeah,
should see it.
there is So no, I haven't seen that. Yeah, it just never been on my radar. I'm just getting back into the.
You're freezing. Ivan, can you hear me?
Yeah,
I think we
I'm
just
here.
went
Yeah,
into load shedding. I just went onto my hotspot, so let's hold thumbs. All goes well.
yeah.
But talking about, the future, you've been channeling information from like 8,000 AD,
Yeah,
3,000 AD. I mean, that's quite something. Um,
yeah,
you want to touch on some of the more interesting things that you've seen, and then I also want to touch on timelines, because timelines often can change, right? So it's not necessarily that it
yeah.
will definitely play out like that. Um, or would you differ from that point of view?
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah. So if I channel somebody for year 8,000 or 3,000 or wherever, obviously our time changes between our time and the year 10,000. We alternate. So it's coming from like alternative reality, but they can still connect to us and give I mean, aliens are pretty much from the future,
So it's pretty
technically.
much
So
parallel timelines.
pretty much.
Future, past,
Yeah.
present is pretty much happening at the same time, right?
Correct.
It's
Yeah.
not a
So
linear
exactly.
sequence.
Yeah, like we're in the future too, but because of our decisions in this timeline, we're a little bit altered, a little bit different. So they're not really tampering with us. Of course, there can be beings that can tell us accurate timelines that will probably get you kicked off the planet or something, or get you a government visit, or who knows. Sometimes the less you know, the better. I know always people want this deep information, and then there's consequences to that. But tapping into the future, they just give their point of view of what's happening with us. Sometimes give us a little bit more detail of what other beings cannot see. So they're called like when I channel that, the the collective that knows me, or people here physically, things that are asking for us. So I just go by what's talking to me before I make a video. Like 5 minutes before I make a video, I don't sometimes I get an idea early in the morning, but not very often. Usually it's right before. So basically the future is just giving us not a warning, like I would say more optimism, which that's what we need.
Mm.
It's
Kind of
instead
saying, if
of
you
just
guys
gloom and
don't
doom.
make different decisions, it could turn out like this. Or if you do make the right decisions, it could turn out like this in a much more positive way.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, just I can't always remember the messages, but it's they usually come in as a helping hand though. Yeah. Not to put fear out there that we're gonna be in
Mm.
doomsday. That's too easy to Armageddon, that's too easy to fall for that. Or there's always that. There's always that, I mean, the World War III situation, like which I don't think is gonna happen. But we can, I mean, technically we still can go through it. I don't think it will, but because we haven't really learned the lessons
Yeah,
not to go. I mean,
yeah. We're kind of on a
you
knife's
know,
edge right now. I mean, a lot of people have sort of
I know.
awakened
Yeah.
and changed the way they live and relate to
Yeah.
others, but many are still on a very negative timeline.
Yeah. It's like
Critical
we're
mass.
teeter totter. Yeah. It's like we're kind of like it can happen. It doesn't feel like it's going to happen, but it could. And if it does, it's a reset because but that's why we're here to make sure that doesn't happen. But World War III might happen one day in the future. Who knows? It never looks good with World War III, though.
Mm. Do you
Just,
also believe we, like, many of us are volunteers that have opted to come here to kind of turn things around and turn the ship
yeah,
around, so to speak, and ensure a
yeah,
positive timeline?
yeah. The alien ground crew.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why some people are. I know this sounds out there, but like if you're an alien, like a Palladian being, and you're going to incarnate here, you can get. There are some realities we can get into like this little sleep bag, like you wait cryo sleep, you go to sleep in it, and you incarnate here, and you might be in that thing for maybe a week, whereas a lifetime here feels like it's
Yes.
forever,
Yes.
but you're in there for a short time. And
Yes.
I've seen them on ships. I can feel it, like they have like real chambers where people incarnated here. It's
Mm.
sounds like science fiction, but
That's a very
yeah,
important point, because it's another point of difference in the community. The lady that we spoke about before speak about, you go into some other pod and your body's in stasis on the ship,
Mhm.
and then you come and reincarnate here. But then somebody else said, no, that is definitely not the case. It's almost like you're going into another avatar.
Yeah.
So you reincarnate into this avatar, but you're still alive and kicking and doing stuff in the
Yeah.
other reality or dimension.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that does exist on some level. It might be just too much for us to process here.
Mm, mm.
But not everybody's going through that. Some people just reincarnate. Yeah, you can reincarnate from a planet. You're just energy. So you're just on your planet, you're just an energy being. You connect to our planet, maybe you learn something, maybe you don't learn anything. You just, oh, that looks nice. And you end up, and you get here, it's like, oh, what was I thinking? I didn't listen to anybody.
Whatever floats your boat, right?
Yeah. But I feel like like those gas giants, those are just energy, they're like astral planets, basically. There's just energy beings that just wandering around, flying around. I mean, there's civilizations, whatever you want to connect with. On a physical level, we only see gas. There's a lot more going on. That's just one example. On a higher level, of course. I mean, yeah, on an astral level, you can say we are kind of like we're on drugs because that's the reality. We're on a higher frequency. And so looking at this world, oh, I can do that, no problem at all.
Yeah, that's
And then
easy
incarnate
peasy. Let's
here.
go. And then you get here, it's like, oh shit, can I abort the
And,
mission?
and then it takes like everything's so slow here, and then you might be here for a lot longer than you thought, and on and on. So
Mm.
yeah.
But then, what
Here we
is your
are.
view on the reincarnation trap, or the yeah, uh, basically, some believe that there's a reincarnation trap that is controlled out of the moon or Saturn, so we kind of forced to reincarnate again and again until we out of.
Well, it all depends on the person. So if you're really connected to drama or challenges, like when people die,
So
it
when you create
depends.
karma
Everybody's
in your
different.
life, you're gonna have to go
You
and clean
can.
up, basically.
It depends. Yeah, if you're like horrible to people, like you're connected really to the lower dimensions here, reincarnating here. Like say if you die, you go into the lower realms, and everybody's making fun of you. Everybody's demonic beings are just going to try to eat you alive. So you incarnate here as human to get away from that. I just felt that. Usually I don't see something like that. But a lot of lower beings reincarnate over and over again. I'd say everybody hears that. There's people have fear of it, but when people are like slowly dying, like they're here, then they're working on, I believe, not coming back. I don't think a lot of people come back. Some do. Some reincarnate over and over again.
Mm.
You have your NPC people, your Matrix people.
Yeah.
They can
How
come
many
back. Some of
NPCs
them
do
been
you think we have?
hijacked. It's the population, maybe more.
Well,
I would
it's
say
that
half
half.
at least right now. I would say half. Yeah. That's a
Gosh.
lot. Well,
Wow.
look at the society. It's like a zombie reality. It's like,
I know. I think
I
we're
mean, I
all
think they
even.
have a soul. I think there's a soul. I mean, the thing is, I think NPC people can wake up from that. Like you can shift it. It was like and start questioning your reality. I think some of them can do that
I've heard
if you
that as
want
well.
to.
I was quite amazed. It was on
Yeah.
another channel, so that the NPCs can now have a soul if they chose that reality.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think some of the NPCs have been hijacked in other realities. Think about, hear about the SSP stuff. So what if you take over a planet and just manipulate the whole planet and you force incarnations here, which is crazy, but they can do it. And
Yeah.
so you flood the place with NPC people.
Yeah.
I mean, how is you going to control a planet? It's the best way of doing it. That's why
Yeah.
everything takes forever. That's why everything's so slow.
Exactly.
It's just crazy thinking, but it sounds science fiction, but I don't know. It's how is he going to hijack a planet? I mean, it's a perfect way of doing it. Make sure you have your people there.
Yeah.
So,
That you can control from a
and
dashboard.
many of us incarnate, awakened more, a little bit more awakened, and we're not getting anywhere. More people, yeah, you become awakened. It's like the worst thing ever happened to you. It's like it's better to be part of the system. It's like, okay, now you're seeing a little bit more. You feel more alone than ever, and it's just, like I say, breaking out of the matrix. Basically, it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
it's
lonely
tough.
journey for many people.
Yeah, you can say the Matrix movie was a sign of the times. Yeah, we're slowly, it's inevitable, but people are still shut down. So whatever.
Mm.
So we're making some progress, not much, but I think
Slowly
it
but surely.
will. Yeah, I feel like the pop culture will one day. Of course, it's going to be a manipulation, but I think it'll go more into entertainment. Like you have all the Marvel stuff, and oh wow, that's Alien. Of course, they have the new Marvel bad guy, and that's about timelines. The crayon or something like that. You like he gives you a timeline that you want, but he kind of like a genie. I give you what you want, but I take your soul.
Mm.
Something like that. That's in the new Ant-Man movie. I think it's coming up.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
but that's it's like your celebrities. Yeah, they give their astrally, they sell themselves out,
Yeah.
and then they're all fame and fortune, and I guess like Oprah.
Yeah.
Of course, Oprah is probably already sold out for them. Um,
Yeah. And then they can control you from there onwards. So you're there to deliver their message and their narrative. And I don't believe anyone can get really, really famous in this world in the entertainment industry unless you've sold your soul. You're just not going to get to the top of the game because all these
so
guys control all the big corporations,
that's
entertainment companies, everything. And they're just going to block you unless you sell your soul to them.
breaking up.
Can you hear me? Yeah, I think my signal is going to start going because I'm on mobile now, but normally the towers start faltering. Can you hear me, Ivan?
Oops.
I think we've
Yeah,
got
I
to
can
wrap
hear
this up
you.
because my signal is going to start
Yeah,
going.
yeah,
I can see it's going, it's
yeah.
starting to go. So,
That's all right.
where
Yeah.
can people find you?
So it's ivanteller.com, or you can look me up on YouTube. Just look it up
Brilliant.
Ivan Teller. I do a video every day, usually late at night. I've been changing my hours, but yeah. So a channel message every day though.
And you do channeling for clients as well, right? Or readings. Oops, I'm losing Ivan. I think it's going to go now. So I will say goodbye on this note as we are in the middle of load shedding in South Africa. But I'll leave the links in the description below so you can find Ivan. Ivan, you're back. Um, it seems Ivan is not back. So we'll wrap up here. Thank you so much for joining us. Please subscribe, like, and share.